It almost looks like Rio de Janeiro. Well, almost. Hello. Okay, that's it. No photos of my goat. The goat is a strategic landmark. It's almost impossible to stop filming here. They have the most beautiful entrances. You come home through a blue tunnel. Kittens! Morocco is a land of opportunity. Morocco is a very beautiful and diverse country. Morocco is slums, suburbs, and McMansions. If you tried of it, you could swim to Spain. Well, you could. Oh my, oh my. Let's rent a boat and go. You'll row. While we're waiting for Spain to open, subscribe to my channel, click like, and ring the bell. I've been to Morocco lots of times. The main problem of Morocco is that when they see unattended, unaccompanied tourists, they attack them. Guides and traders attack them, like mosquitoes in Brazil. That's one of the tourist landmarks. A waterfall. Wow, a waterfall. Look, they bathe oranges in the waterfall. They cool them down there. They cool them down to squeeze the juice. By the way, most souvenirs you see around here are made in China. You may think it's weird. What about local workshops? But most magnets and other stuff are made in China. Wow, check out the tunnel. The most interesting thing in the city is the blue tunnels. Where's it going? It ends with a stair. It's someone's house. I went along a tunnel and ended up in a house. Lena, here's a door. We just haven't seen it. Sorry, we barged into a house. They have the most beautiful entrances. You come home through a blue tunnel. What else would you need? I'm sure nice and happy people live here. Okay, now seriously. The story goes that Sephardic Jews were the first to paint their houses sky blue. In the 15th century, they were forced out of Spain and found their housing in North Africa. So Chefchaouen became a city for refugees. The legend says blue color stands for peace and tolerance. There are also more mundane versions. Say, components in blue paint allegedly ward off mosquitoes. Another version says people started painting their houses blue back in the 70s on the order of the government as a way to attract tourists. Maybe some officials visited Sidi Bou Said in Tunisia or Surgut in Russia and decided to do the same. Kittens! Hi, kittens! Here, they finally started prohibiting photos. Here's a goat. Oh my, it's no photos of my goat. The goat is a strategic landmark. No photos of the goat. No way. Those are steep stairs. That's why local old men are so upbeat. They climb up the stairs and enjoy themselves. The stairs bring them health. Check out the beauty. No souvenirs, no ever-present carpets, no clamor, no people, no juice squeezers, no candy floss, no Chinese stuff, no postcards, no books or leather bags. Here's beauty. Everything's blue. Yeah, blue and azure. You can withdraw from everyone and enjoy the wonderful city. Here's another entrance. It does look like an animal hole. Here's a fort wall with nothing behind. It looks gloomy. Long ago, Medina used to be the old city. To protect it from various attacks, barbarians and enemies, they put up the fort wall. Well, the wall won't protect you from anyone. And I guess it's more or less new. It's a kind of tourist attraction. Check out the cemetery, by the way. The graves are also painted blue or lilac. We're going back home. I hope we don't get lost in the old city maze. A dog wanted to bite us, but it didn't. Lots of tourists have visited Chefchaouen only in the last 3 years. It still has a few nice hotels and restaurants. Cities that meet a sudden flow of tourists often turn out troublesome. Tourism revenue is not invested into urban field. Instead of shaping the city, following the design code, and avoiding chaotic construction, everyone tries to snatch a fine piece. They build ugly hotels and cafes, but no one cares about the mess. Sadly, the Blue Pearl of Morocco has a good chance to become a kind of urban evil in a couple of years. Now we're in Fez, the cultural capital of Morocco. The city is ranked second in population after Casablanca, with more than 1 million residents. There are no tourists now, the best time for traveling. The gate is named after the craft that comes behind it. It's Bab Jalud Gate. Bab means gate. Jalud means leather. Blue is the color of the city. The gate used to close once. The city's like a picturesque maze, a kind of museum city. The Clone telenovela was filmed here, you know. The Brazilian one. The Clone is one of the most successful Brazilian telenovelas. Why is Fez dangerous? It's not exactly dangerous. You know, we've just left the maze of the old city, right? And speaking about the maze, many idle rowdies live in there. Poverty always brings problems, doesn't it? What can they possibly do? They can attack or rob you. That doesn't mean they'll surely do it. There's always a chance for a tourist to get in trouble, you know? Look at me, I'm a local, I'm Moroccan, but I still can get lost in the maze, especially at night. I can get in a fight. Check this out, it's a 14th century school. It's closed because of the pandemic. There used to be a clock. The outward style is the same as the inward one, but there is also calligraphy inside. That's a 2-story building. People have lived and studied in there since the 14th century. Karim, I've got a question. You know, I've seen something here that couldn't possibly exist in Russia. It's unthinkable in Russia. We usually have cast iron street lamps, metal ones, but you have plastic street lamps. Have a look. Check out the plastic street lamp with foam inside. You see? It's a plastic street lamp, a fake street lamp. Well, it looks like metal from a distance. They used to be metal once. What happened then? I don't know for sure. But it's awful. How did it happen? Dad, how did that happen in St. Petersburg? Well, not in St. Petersburg. It was in... Lena, get lost. They put up plastic street lamps. They can close the park now. Thank you, Lena. You have that too. We don't have that in Russia. You know, Russia is related to Morocco. They're both the places of fake things. Plastic street lamps. There are plastic street lamps both in Chefchaouen and in St. Petersburg. That's just awful. Look here. Check this out. Yeah, we don't have the same. They look fine from a distance. From a distance, yes. You look 18 from a distance. Yes, right. From here, you look 25. I'm 57. You're 57, in fact. You told me the election was coming. Are there any protests? There are. Do people come out to protests? Yes. Against what? Last time, they protested against the deputies who wanted to keep their pensions. Say you had worked as a deputy for 4 or 5 years. You're 30. After 5 years of work, you get nearly 20,000 dirhams a month. Oh my. Even after retirement. I'm shocked. That was the reason. Now the king is against it. Is the king good? The king's good. Isn't the king elected? We don't elect the king, he inherits it. He inherits the title. Which powers does the king have? Does he pass laws or anything? Or do deputies do that? I'll tell you what, it's a monarchy. But I'll tell you what, in Morocco, the king rules the country. Not only governs it, he actually rules it. It's not like in Britain, is it? No, not like in Britain. He also has advisors in all the fields. He takes all the measures he needs. He's like, do this and don't do that. He's made lots of decisions in favor of his people lately. Against those, there has been an election. He spoke in front of the deputies, and he said, me and my people are in the same party. Me and my people are in the same party. People love the king, don't they? They do. They love him a lot. Did you protest against the deputies? I didn't. Why not? Well, Karim, look here. My followers love people with active attitude who go to protest and assert their rights. Why don't you do that? I will. I will do that. For the sake of your followers. I will prove it with a photo. I guess Karim is a populist, just like the king. He follows people's wishes. I'll do that just for you. The most serious riots in modern Morocco's history took place 10 years ago. The protesters called for political reforms and improvement of living conditions. Meanwhile, in nearby countries like Tunisia, Egypt, or Libya, the events later called the Arab Spring have already started. The King of Morocco looked at it, gave it some thought, and decided to get a head start and listen to his people. A constitutional reform limiting the king's powers was carried out. There were few essential changes. Most of them were insignificant. In the same year, the Islamic Party became a member of the government for the first time in the country's history and won the most seats. But still, nothing significant changed in the lives of ordinary Moroccan people. The unemployment, poverty, and social inequality rates are still high. Access to healthcare and education is still low, and there's a huge gap between city and village residents. The situation got even worse during the pandemic. We have protests, yes. Say, women go out to protest about their rights. What about their rights? Everything's fine. Women have everything they want. They can be ministers, or military generals, or university rectors. Can women do military service? Yes, sure, even as a general. I know some of them. Women can even be corporals. Sergeants, at least. Why sergeants? They're secretaries. They work as secretaries. What about domestic violence? What do you mean? Do women get beaten at home? Do men beat women? Is that possible? Well, at home, I mean, do husbands beat their wives? Not anymore, no. We have a law against domestic violence. For the benefit of women, we have lots of organizations for women's rights protection. We have another sly law, a smart Moroccan law. The family code changes according to the situation, to the ambient, you know? Say, some time ago, if a man wanted to have a second wife, he needed permission from his first wife. The first wife wouldn't give it simply out of spite. If she already knows his intention and wouldn't give her permission, they'll have constant fights, right? Yeah, they'll end up in divorce. But we have a smart family code. The last edition of the family code says a man can have a second wife without the first one's permission. That's the last edition. That's the key to smooth family life. No need for permission. The law smooths it down, you know? Smooths down the problem. It gives you an opportunity for a happy life and a happy family with no need for a second wife. No need for permission? No need. That's why they behave better. Why's that good? What if the first wife's against bringing home the second one? Nothing. She can accept that. Or she can ask for divorce. Are divorces allowed? They are. If a woman doesn't like anything, she can ask for a divorce, right? Yes, she can go and apply for divorce. There's something more. Who takes the kids? It depends. Is it up to the courts? It's up to the court or to themselves. But mostly she takes them. Who? The mother. Do men pay alimony? They do. They pay. Surveys show the situation with women's rights is not as smooth as Karim told me. According to the Ministry of Solidarity, Family, and Social Development, 55% of female population in Morocco, of 18 million women, fell victims to domestic violence at least once. The World Bank ranks Morocco 143rd among 150 countries in its gender equality rating, meaning it's 11th from the end. Russia is ranked 81st. The first places went to Iceland, Norway, and Finland. There are still few women in elective positions in Morocco. Women are often uneducated and jobless. A riad is different from a hotel. A hotel is more Europeanish. It's like in Europe. A riad is domestic, Moroccan-wise. Riad means haven or a garden. Riad is a kind of garden. When you enter a riad, you see it contains 3 philosophical items: a fountain, meaning water, air, and sky. Here's the best room in the riad. Here's the bed, slippers and everything. The room overlooks the garden. Here's the bathroom. Looks splendid. There's also a second floor. Hey, Lena, here's a bed for you. No, that's for the guide. For the guide? Yes. For Karim to spend the night. Karim, you have a tour tomorrow. You can't stay here. I can leave at night. I will stay with you for a while and leave at 2 a.m. It will feel like we live in one apartment, in one riad. That's the first university in the world. It's also closed because of coronavirus. The world's first university built in the 9th century. It was opened due to a woman called Fatima Al-Faria. She was the one who established the university in the 9th century, in 859. They're selling fabrics. More expensive ones are over there. People come here and order fabric, right? Yes, they say how many meters they need. For nice outfits? Yes, for nice outfits. You can also order one and come to Moscow all Moroccan dressed. Here's wool, sheep wool. It's high quality. It's good for carpet. That's what we buy for pillows, for sofas and so on. One of the main things to do here is working with leather coloring tubs. It's also a tourist landmark, so they earn twice. First, they produce stuff and sell it to tourists. Second, they let people in to watch them and make photos for money. It's a unique period now, with few tourists around, because of coronavirus. It's almost empty now. It smells not so good, you know? First, they soak leather in pigeon manure. Dye is produced from plants and minerals. There's only one restriction in working with raw animal materials. Just like 1,000 years ago, leather workers use only halal animal skin. What did he say? He said, "Thank you for payment. You helped us." How can we protect ourselves from fakes? What if someone says, "I will take you there for free. I will show you something for free." You say, "I don't need that." They're cooking treats. You can buy everything at the market, from Dior outfits to fresh fruit, barbecue, and even live chickens. Everything's so interesting here, but I can't fully enjoy it. I just can't forget Karim's fancy look. I want to have a stunning Berber outfit too. Well, you look good. That's my robe, a genuine robe, not a fake one. How is it called? Jellaba. I can wear it in Moscow. In Moscow, sure, I'll look fancy. You sure will. If anything, you say, I'm Kareem's friend. They all know me. There are cotton jellabas for summer and wool ones for winter. The conical hood protects you from sun and sand. Or you can put it down and use it as a large pocket. Say you go to a grocery store and put sausages and chips into the hood. Say no to plastic bags. It's ecological, isn't it? As for ethnic outfits, it always feels good to see people in ethnic clothes in a foreign country. Sometimes they keep ethnic items like hats or something. It's kind of a local identity. We live in a global world where everything looks the same, but there are still some local things, parts of national culture, and it's good. We're walking around without Kareem. Yes, without him. Our main challenge is to find our way in the maze of Medina in Fez. I hear white people keep getting lost in the maze. As you can see, the streets are very narrow. They can be less than a meter wide. Two people can hardly pass each other in some lanes. One of Morocco's most interesting Medinas is located in Fez. That's a genuine eastern city with narrow streets, devoid of sunshine. That's a huge area. The main part is hidden behind the old carved doors. Those are riads, or old inns. You walk along the old stony street with unpleasant smell. Then you come inside and see splendid gardens, luxurious rooms, and fountains. Lena, check this out. Here's unexpected modern design. They built something modern, but kept the traditional Medina-wise style. Everything's wonderful, but could the banister be any higher? Well, the river is... Check out the cats! A herd of cats. With that smell, I guess it's a toilet. Here's a huge, modern complex. And it looks pretty good. They were able to include it in Medina's historic area, in the historic space. They were supposed to build a nice embankment, but the main problem is the garbage. Take a look at the stream. It's littered with trash bags, scraps, and everything. They traditionally use the river as a dump site or a natural shithole. And the embankment itself obviously needs sweeping. There are also weird, shabby cases. What are they for? The place is a mess. Well, they actually cleared the area and turned it into an embankment. Good for them. It does look kind of nice. Not like in Venice, of course. But that's a good case. There are boxes, bags, and papers floating in there. For some reason, they just dump their crap down there. There's a coat, even a coat. It looks awful. Don't do that. Look, here's a river cleaner. He also wonders at the trash bags floating in there and tries to shuffle through them. We're exploring the morning market. There are lots of flies. Here are chicken cages. He's moving them somewhere else. Here's fresh chicken. A store full of fresh chicken. Here you can choose a chicken you need, and they'll turn it into meat. No market can do without cats. Lena, look, we need to find our way back. We should retrace our steps. Lena, that's not for us. We can't take the same way back. We should look for new ways. We look almost like locals. I have a local robe on. We're almost locals. We should easily find our way in Medina. No need for maps. Okay, a dead end. A dead end. You're good at directing. There are 950 streets in there. I guess we've seen 950 of them. Here's an interesting point. Each area has its own color. We're walking along the light blue area. Before that, everything was painted yellow. Those narrow streets. They even put up supporting posts to prevent the shabby houses from caving in. Here's an extremely narrow street. And it's getting narrower up there. It's like 30 or 40 centimeters wide, with wooden braces between the walls. Looks wonderful. You obviously can't bring a couch in here. We arrived at Casablanca. It's the most European city in Africa. Let's visit a new neighborhood in Casablanca. It's supposed to become a symbol of urban renovation and a central element of the modern city. The first thing we see is the incredible park meeting us here. It's closed, by the way, and we can't enter the wonderful park. Well, it's still in progress, so maybe those are large gates. It's obviously unfinished. The construction isn't finished yet, but we can still see it. They have good pieces and design in there. And look, nice benches. They even dug a ditch to collect rainwater. Well, you see the buildings out there? They're usually shaped and covered in green. They look like giant green stubs. Everything looks good. They even have a sunshade above the swings. Here's a kind of fancy block. That's where the residential area begins. Some are inhabited, some are still in progress. The buildings look nice. They're peculiarly shaped with interesting balconies, ethnic ornaments, and decorations. You see, they put flower pots and cases on the balconies. The plants will intermingle in time and it'll look like a green tree stub. The most stunning thing is the tram. The buildings are of various levels. You see, one of them is slowly getting intertwined in flowers. They are freshly built, and I guess in some 5 years, they'll be green all over. On top of that, they have fancy modern trains. You can use them to come from Casablanca center to the new neighborhood.
All of this building is residential.
This one is office.
This?
Yes,
okay.
It's office.
The
It's
small
for rent. So
and this is residential.
Residential. So if you need to open your offices, you're welcome.
Lena and I are very lucky. We were just walking around, and this guy came up to us all fancy dressed. I took him for a security guy at first. I thought he'd say something like, "No filming." He was like, "What are you filming?" I said, "Just trams and paths." "What else?" "Houses." And he was like, "Would you like to come up there?" He actually works here, so he got away from his business and showed us an apartment with a view. The guy's awesome. He told us the prices and everything. That's how a balcony looks like. Those towers are identical, high residential ones. They're turned differently, and that's why they look different. That's an office tower. It's a little lower. My friends, the smallest apartment in the Green Towers is 50 square meters, and it costs 200,000 euro. The fanciest and largest one we saw was 250 square meters and featured a giant terrace, and it's $1 million. If you have money, welcome. It surely looks nice and pretty, but I'm not sure about Moroccan building quality. It already looks shabby, with plaster falling off, although the building is new. Moroccans are not good builders yet, not on European level. but they're good at inviting professional architects and arranging fine urban areas. Moroccans are clearly on their way to success, and we have something to learn from them. The area does look fine, although it's still under construction, but it's nice. That's what I told you about. The wall is already filthy, and I'm not sure it's washable. Check out the blocks. There are no cars in here, as they're parked underground. That's a nice neighborhood. Good for them. I'm walking along residential and office buildings, and I see the tower over there. It's where the business area begins. Also a new one in Casablanca. Those are courtyard entrances. The yard looks rather... It's still under construction. It will be covered in green, with palms and nice entrances. They're not good at tiling yet. The main thing is, don't try looking closer. Enjoy it from a distance. Here are the tracks, and here's a sidewalk with a security guy who prohibits filming. Can't I film you? Can I film everything else? An amazing tram is coming through greenery and shrubs. Looks wonderful. The security guy is training behind our backs. He stops everyone from filming. He has a simple test assignment to prevent the filming of the trees and the boulevard. I can't say he's good at that. He couldn't properly explain the restriction because of his poor English, so he kept filming, and he keeps standing there and realizing the necessity to become a fluent restrictor. He should learn to rush at his prey. That's one of an amazing greenery. Check out the plants they arranged here. It's a good way to substitute fences and stuff if you want to restrict walking. You simply plant lots of shrubs and long grass, and no one will dare walk here. The tower will host the office of the Moroccan Pension Fund. The building was supposed to be finished this year, but it's late due to coronavirus. I showed you the new area, and the new area already has a tram line. Here are business and residential areas, and here's a tram line. They don't have to wait for years to get a good transport line. Here's a large field. It'll also be taken later, but they already have a fine road and a future tram line. It will go between the palm trees as a present line extension. And here's the road, a fine road with curbs and sidewalks. It's not paved yet, but it's already marked. It has all you need. They can take away the fence and open it tomorrow. It's ready to operate. Although that's an empty lot, even without footings. A total wasteland. We're in Casablanca's suburbs. Let's have a look at new large Moroccan neighborhoods. It's still under construction, but I can see the prices. The banner says they have apartments for 500,000. Here are almost finished houses. I can say the process goes fast. Maybe they're going through crisis or something. Maybe there are no customers yet. But I'm glad I don't see any high-rises. Those are fine 5-story buildings with nice balconies and various design. Not a single high-rise. The area is huge. But it's a shame it's residential only. It's not a good idea, you know. They try to build a small city at the edge of a large one. But all I see is residential buildings. A row of houses. They are actually pretty nice, if rather plain. They built schools, constructed roads and stuff, but it's still kind of suburbs with no job opportunities. This is Dennis. This is Ilya. We're going to the slums. Let's go. It's scary. It's so scary. We hardly met anyone in the slums of Casablanca. Everyone's at work. Why do they call it slums? It looks like a fancy, low-rise neighborhood. They have everything they need. Stores, cafes, mosques, casinos. Interestingly, the most expensive restaurants in Casablanca border with the area. It's usual for Morocco. You can see a donkey standing next to a Bentley. It looks like a plain village at the premises of the city. That's how they make ice cream. I see they don't really care about hygiene, do they? Not really, no. Is there anything you don't like about Morocco? You have lived here for 6 years. Well, what pisses you off about Morocco? The main thing is traffic. It's just awful, you know? I can't get used to it. No one cares about traffic rules. They do all they want. They also don't give a damn about waiting lines. Yes, right, that pisses me off too. I was standing in the line to buy a railway ticket. Yes, they keep squeezing in. Yes, you stand tight. But if there is a 20-centimeter wide space, enough for a leg to squeeze in, it will squeeze in for sure. You should be on guard. They squeeze in like snakes and stand before you unfazed. You step back as you don't want to start a fight or anything. Not fight, I just don't want to stand tight and touch his sweaty back or something. I said too many good things about Morocco. Let's spoil Moroccan tourist rating a bit. Let's start from dirt. Yes, dirt and low-rate hotels. Even chain hotels like Radisson, Sofitel, and so on. Even chain 5-star-like hotels don't follow the standards of the chain, even compared to hotels in third-world countries. One of the main problems in Morocco is beggars. Also Africans who got stuck here on their way to Europe and remained. Here's an amazing railway station. An amazing station. Dimitri obviously doesn't like it with his grumpy expression. His face is saying, "What's so amazing about it?" But I love it. The station is called Casa Port. It was opened back in 1907 and largely renovated in 100 years. They also constructed a fine new passenger terminal. It was designed by the French and features modern mashrabiyah. It's a patterned mesh shielding you from the scalding sun. It's a great example of combining modernity with ethnic elements. Let's discuss a good transport hub, a good modern station. It's a pleasure to be here, and you know why? Because all doors are open. You don't have to look for an entrance or an exit. You can go through any door. You see, this door is open. That one is open too. There are no security guys. No one searches you all over or examines you through. No ribbons, no frames, nothing. The station is a pleasant public space with clean, nice benches. Not a restricted area like in Russia. No stench, no joints. I just realized they don't sell booze in here. Maybe that's the reason. Alcohol market is rather peculiar in Morocco, you know. It's an Islamic country and there's no open alcohol market. The station's still very tidy. Boarding a train takes you a minute. You enter the station and here's your platform. Here's the entrance. And here are the exits. Lena and I will simply go through the door. That's my kid testing the exit. The door's closed. Okay, the platform's out of service. She'll use the nearby one. That's amazing. Clean and wonderful. Check out the stretched structures. Those are double-deckers. They look like French ones. As we are in Morocco, the train is filthy. It must be filthy, you know. No need to wash it. The paint is peeling off. They clearly haven't washed the space between the coaches, not even once. The carriages look French, with a slight Indian hint. The train still keeps its spirit of adventure. There are not only French trains, but also French trams in Morocco. 9 years ago, they were launched in Casablanca. Yes, at first they took them... Didn't the locals like the trams? Yes, they took them negatively at first. You see, there was only one line, and that clearly wasn't enough. Then the second one was built. With the third and fourth ones, I guess... You're Russian, right? Yes. You've lived here for 13 years? Yes. What keeps pissing you off about Moroccans? What irritates you? What makes you so mad you think, I just hate you? Well, you know, here's a tricky question. I got it. Well, you know, I can't stand it when they dump trash. All they want, you know? They just don't care about the place. Do you have a mayor? Or is it the king who arranges urban projects? To be honest, I don't know. But you can't do anything without the king here. So I guess he takes part in it. Do they like him? They do. How much is the average salary in Casablanca? I'm not sure. You know, minimum wage is not like in Russia. Minimum wage is around 2,500 dirhams. Well, that's my guess. 250 euro? Yes. Is it minimum? Yes, official minimum wage. I guess some earn even less, but that's the minimum wage you should get. As for the things I hate about Casablanca, and not just me, everyone does actually, it's the absence of barrier-free environment. If you have a baby and a stroller, it's just impossible to pull it on the street. There's nowhere to walk around, only along the embankment. It's not a city for walking. I guess you noticed that. I noticed you have lots of shabby buildings in modern areas. It was built recently. The area is called the Place of Art or something. Not like in Russia, you know. They put up new fancy buildings and leave them surrounded with crap, waste, and mud. But here, I see shabby, filthy buildings, real shitholes, surrounded by street lamps, benches, and nice vibes. They renovate railways, build new roads, launch tram lines. Where does Morocco get money from? From oil? From creditors, maybe? With phosphates and everything? Nearby Algeria or Tunisia are shitholes, you know. Well, not exactly shitholes, but still. Algeria has gas and oil. Yes, but it looks different. Here in Morocco, it feels like I'm in Dubai or something. I see it has developed a lot within the last 10 years. You know, 99% of Moroccan villages are electrified. It's better than in Algeria. Much better, I'd say. There are two main railway stations in Casablanca. One of them is in the seaport. Trains for Marrakesh depart from there. Another station is located in the north. Both of them are modern, fancy, and freshly renovated. Let's have a look at the largest station in Casablanca. That's the old building. It's out of service now. The station used to be here. They haven't demolished it. It remained standing. It's closed for visitors, I guess. Check out the clock tower. Here's the new building. It does look fresh and modern. Casa Voyageurs. And here's an amazing tram. The balcony overlooks the old railway station. Here's a station square with a train arriving. It's neat and clean. What else could you wish for? It's awesome because I think they also kept the old building in Tangier. In Russia, if they have a historic building, a small and outdated one, they usually demolish it and replace it with crap. Here, they retained the old building well and constructed a new one. Here's a temptation. Such constructions always tempt you to climb on them. Someone did it and broke the tiles. That's how the station square looks like. Actually, that's how any station square should look like a fine public space. People come here to play with their kids, play ball and ride their teens ride skateboards and roller skate. That's not a restricted area like in Russia, with boozers, dirt, waste, and rats. Just a nice and clean public space. That's the historic railway station. It's still here, not demolished or anything. It's another part of the station square. That's how the system works. The station is located kind of above the tracks, with the waiting room up there and everything. You should go down to approach the platforms. And there are 2 station squares. One of them contains taxi and underground parking. We're at the other one, featuring public transport. You start your trip with a railway station, right? That's one of a fancy train. A speed train that'll take us to Tangier. The trip to Tangier on a speed train took us a little longer than 2 hours. Those are French Alstom trains, comparatively new ones. This one was made in 2014. They do go fast. A road trip would take us 4 or 5 hours. I love speed railways. We're in the northern part of Morocco. I hear you can see the Spanish coast in this fine weather. The distance between Tangier and Spain is only 14 kilometers. In the previous century, the seaport kept passing from one country to another. It was ruled by France, Spain, Britain, Italy, Portugal, and Belgium. As a result, the city acquired all their cultures. On top of that, Tangier attracts artists, musicians, diplomats, and criminals. The Rolling Stones visited it, and Henri Matisse painted here. We're at the sea. Some time ago, you could easily board a ferry and arrive at Spain in 30 minutes. Because of coronavirus, you can't do that anymore. Let's walk around and have a look at the freshly made embankment. Let's enjoy the sea. That's how the embankment looks like. And those are the legendary benches. Well, that's not the best example. Such benches are scattered all over the world. I guess they were sold everywhere. I saw them in Africa, in the Caribbean. I saw them in all the countries related to France. We're in the Spanish part of Morocco. North Morocco belonged to Spain once. I guess they put the benches here recently. A French bench spreading program or something. And here's the sea. Sea and sand. Almost like in Rio de Janeiro. Well, almost. We walked several kilometers along the center. Everything looks nice. It's not flawless, but still fine, you know? Maybe they have a national urban program or something. They're renovating all Moroccan cities that can possibly attract tourists. Check this out. There used to be slums, now demolished and turned into a lawn. A nice lawn with trees. Well, we couldn't do without crap, of course. They're not able yet to construct a good drain and sloping and let the water drain away. Here's a Moroccan boozer having a rest. I have no idea how he found booze or drugs here. Whatever poison he uses. He's having a rest. The sun in Tangier lets him do that. Yes, Lena's telling me to watch my step. We're not in Paris yet. Paris doesn't let us in. Here's a ferry terminal. I guess that's where ferries to Spain departed from. Before the pandemic, before Europe was closed. I have a strong temptation to rent a boat and go to Spain. What would you do there, Lena? Eat jamon and octopus with potatoes at Spanish markets? Oh my, oh my. Let's rent a boat and go. You'll row. The first spot on our map is Gran Teatro Cervantes. It was built in 1913, now it's abandoned, and we can't enter it legally because of the sad guard. He prevents intruders from sneaking into the amazing theater. We're in the maze. It's under construction. They're renovating the whole Medina in Tangier. They're relaying the boards, constructing new gutters and drains. A serious reconstruction is going on here. And here are the results of their reconstruction. They set up identical wooden doors and shutters. Identical sheds all over the place. Not only in Tangier, but in all cities. They make everything identical to please tourists' eyes. Here are some genuine entrances, but they'll get ruined soon. While they're busy scrubbing the main streets, well, not scrubbing, just painting and tiling them up, their beautiful entrances are getting ruined. Check out the amazing interior. That's the main street of Tangier. It's noisy. Everyone's honking away, wanting something from each other. Why are you honking? Tangier is a large city with more than 1 million residents. There, the policemen are whistling. Everyone's honking. Like, come on, go, go. It's a mess. Walking here is hard. Here's a bus. It's blue and nicely decorated. Which life principles do various Moroccans follow? That's the point. As long as we're not in Marrakesh, I'll prepare you for Marrakesh. You know Marrakesh. Marrakesh is always ready for you. They're always ready for tourists, aren't they? It's not like that in Casablanca. They're also waiting for tourists in the old city of Fez. But its new city, residents are elegant. They're different. Because Fez is the science of Morocco, the spirituality of Morocco, and so on. The north presents women and beauty. Beautiful women. The most beautiful women of Morocco live in the north of Morocco. I got it. Do they work? They do. A husband may be jobless, but she works. That's lovely. They both work, actually. How many wives do they have here? As for wives, let me tell you something. Let's see what they have there. They're from Tangier. From Tangier? Ask him, what was the dancing about? They came from Tangier and liked the tour they had here. And that was their way to say thank you to the city before leaving. Let me ask you a tricky question. Go ahead. Be honest. Okay, honest. Make a list of 10 things you hate about Morocco. What irritates you? Let's criticize it. You keep praising it. My followers won't believe everything's so fine. There should be something bad. Be cool and honest. Name 10 things you hate about Morocco. He's in trouble. That's a good question. I'm a patriot, you know. I don't care. I like everything. I don't believe you. Okay, I don't like our voting system at the elections. We have 33 official parties. But I know that there are 6 of them, in fact. The rest of them help transferring votes to the main ones. Spoilers? Spoilers. I want them to change the system. That was the first point. Go on. I wish we had fewer poor people. Are there many? Yes. I also want people to change their set of mind, especially in tourist cities. They try to rob tourists of their money, you know? They act as guides, show them a kind of way. I want people in tourist cities to have more opportunities, like factories or something. Other ways to earn money, you know? Then tourism will thrive in Morocco. Visitors will feel safe, even in tourist cities. No one will jump at them. They will roam around and feel fine. People will work legally, say licensed guides, have tags like that, which means they have nothing to do with fooling people. They just can't do that. Because if they get a bad review, it will go to the ministry and they will lose their license. We have 3 points. Go on. That's enough. 3 are enough? Enough. Okay, what about garbage? Garbage? Sure. It's littered, isn't it? Talking about garbage, it's a different culture, you know? It's the culture that needs to be changed. If you keep your house clean, you keep other places clean too. That's what I'm saying. Morocco is slums, suburbs, and McMansions. To everyone's liking, you take a McMansion area and it's clean. But in slums, you should be ready for stench and waste. Thank you. Everything else is fine? Yes, it's fine. Some 10 years back, Morocco was a typical North African country, like Tunisia, Algeria, and pre-war Libya, with their slums and poor roads. It changed a lot since then. Morocco has highways all over the country, splendid trams in Casablanca and Rabat. World-famous architects developed Morocco's landmarks. New areas resemble those in Germany and France. Tell your friends about the video, subscribe and click like, and don't forget to ring the bell. Don't forget to post the video to Reddit and share the link to your friends via WhatsApp.